Stay tuned, they got the good stuff, not the regular news you used to hearing every day with the sad and all the politics, real stuff from the streets.
Enjoy. It's an experience.
I came to see her, but I left loving that nigga that was on stage before her. The nigga with the one braid hanging in front of his face. Who was that nigga? He was cold.
So how does someone go from a homeless shelter to signing a $3 million 2-year contract with RCA? That's today's come-up story.
My name is Flacco, but y'all might know me as ASAP Rocky. I always hoped I'd be famous. I always thought I would. I always imagined I would. I always felt it could happen, but I never knew how it would or how it would feel.
My little brother, he was different. So we always knew he was going to have what he wanted. Even at a young age, he was always a leader. He was the leader of his little crew that he hung with. Rocky's 5th birthday party. He had on his little Jordans with his cross-color outfit.
His dad put a thick Gucci link chain on him. He had a fresh haircut. He was 5 years old. It was his birthday party, and it was a long hallway, and everybody's in the living room cheering him as he walked down the hall. Rocky, Rocky.
For a 5-year-old, it was just like, oh my God. He kind of like profiled there and modeled for a second, like, yes. And then he took his glasses off. Cocky Rocky for real. But at 5 years old, for him to have that demeanor about himself was just beyond his age.
Having only 2 albums under a major label, you might wonder why I'm featuring ASAP Rocky. Well, both of those records dropped at #1 on the Billboard 200. He's collaborated with today's greats like Drake and Kendrick Lamar, been nominated and won multiple awards, and became fast friends with legends like Snoop Dogg and Swizz Beatz. He went from a homeless shelter to signing a $3 million 2-year contract with RCA. And that's the sort of rags to riches story that made me fall in love with hip-hop in the first place. Although Rocky's not exactly a role model either. He spent more time checking for girls than grades, even if it was just a high school security guard.
Security guards' names and...
Yeah, I had a crush on her, that's why.
You had a crush on her? Did you try
she
to...
still looked the same. Now, she ain't never give me no play. But she still looked, she looked good then.
She looked banging? Yeah. She didn't give you no play when we were there that day either?
He's a major proponent of LSD.
I'm a proud LSD user.
And a pretty constant advocate for orgies.
And you said you went and had an orgy and banged out like 9 women.
Yo, it's crazy though, because it wasn't like at once, man. It was kind of crazy.
But there is something liberating or charming about the way he talks about all this. A little cocky, sure, but not braggadocious like some rappers. His family did give him this nickname when he was 5 years old.
Cocky Rocky for real.
He has an oddly genuine perspective on living life to the fullest. I think he's just a throwback to the hippie lifestyle of free love and experimentation. He's constantly being led back towards artistic endeavors well beyond rap. In fact, depending on the circle you run, Rocky is better known for his work in fashion than in hip-hop. This is what actually sparked my motivation for this episode. I caught the January issue of Forbes magazine and saw Rocky on the cover page, one of those 30 under 30 millionaires, but was surprised when they mentioned it was more for his work in fashion than rapping. In fact, Rocky's fashion career is almost bigger than his rap career. Listen to these highlights from the past 10 years, and there's only one song for a segment like this.
I'm too sexy for my love, too sexy for my love.
You disagree?
Going to leave.
Let's go. In 2005, Rocky began freelance modeling for Calvin Klein. By 2010, he had everyone on his mixtape video shoot for Purple Swag wear only Black Scale brand clothing. By 2012, a year after his record deal, he and ASAP Mob released a collaborative clothing line with the West Coast brand Black Scale, primarily graphic tees, sweaters, hoodies, all with the theme of darkness and clean-cut lines. Around the same time, he started modeling for Alexander Wang. world-renowned fashion icon. Then, in April 2012, he worked a collaborative clothing deal with Stussy. In 2013, he started dating American model Chanel Inman. Not that it was a fashion industry career move, but I'm sure he met some major players by dating a supermodel. Later, in 2013, he inked a deal with Adidas to create shoes with Adidas fashion designer Jeremy Scott. Also in 2013, he partnered with Raf Simons, creative director at Christian Dior. He helped create the ASAP clothing brand, and by 2014 was represented by William Morris Endeavor, an American talent agency in Beverly Hills who represented companies like the NFL. Okay, in 2014, he began modeling for DKNY, which apparently had a good payday because this was mentioned in the Forbes article I talked about earlier. Then, still in 2014, he released a clothing collection with the California-inspired brand PacSun. By 2015, he began modeling menswear with fashion leaders like Vogue and Mr. Porter. All this was followed by another modeling contract with Salvatore Ferragamo, a high-end Italian fashion dealer, for their spring and summer collection. Talk about multiple streams of income, we haven't even gotten to his rap career yet. So how does one get to a place in life where they're drawing a six-figure check from multiple industries while still in their 20s? Like always, let's start at the beginning. Born on October 3rd, 1988 in Harlem, his mother named him Rakim Mayers.
In 88, Rakim and Eric B, they was popping. You know what I mean? I'm a hip-hop lover. I'm a music lover. So if I had a boy, he was going to be named Rakim.
The next born, his sister, named Erica B, obviously named after the late 80s, early 90s hip-hop pioneers, Eric B and Rakim. He also has two other younger sisters, Meg and Louisa, and one older brother, Ricky. He first showed interest in rap when he was 8 years old. His brother used to pound beats on the kitchen table with a fist and a pen while rapping over it. He admits his raps were pretty nonsensical at the time, but he got the concept.
By the time I was 8, I found this gift of, rhyme. My brother introduced me to it. He told me to go after it. He was beating on the table. Go for it, just rap. I can't recollect what I said, specifically, but I do remember, the first line. It was like, my little sister was just born. Her name's Asia, and I said, Asia, don't play with no games. I smokes the weed and I am the shames. It didn't make sense, but it rhymed, you know what I'm saying? So, when I did that, he was like, and he was like, keep going. I said something about suck my dick with a toothpick or something like that, you know what I'm saying? Now, but I'm 8, freestyling, you know what I mean?
Later on, Ricky, that same brother, was murdered in Harlem when Rocky was 13 and living in a homeless shelter with his mom. He had this to say in a past MTV interview with Sway.
Ricky, my older brother, he died on this block.
On this block?
Yeah, he got shot. He got shot right around the corner.
Really?
He's 20 years old, yeah.
Yeah, you remember that, though?
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I was going to school down the block at the moment. I remember my mom, she just rushed, because we was living on 104th at the Volunteers of America, the shelter. She's like, your brother just got shot, let's go. I'm like, he was so tough, I thought he was going to make it. So, I didn't think he was going to pass. And we was up the block at St. Luke's, and that's when it happened. February 22nd, that's when they announced,
Yeah. How old were you at that time?
13.
13 years old.
That's well over 10 years.
You got caught up in the streets a little bit too, right?
He did get caught up. Living in a homeless shelter at such a young age didn't leave a lot of options. Rocky recalls what it was like.
I used to live into a homeless shelter, and my friends used to be like, yo, we coming over, and I used to be like, I can't have company, you know what I'm saying? I'm in trouble, I gotta do my homework. I was a little embarrassed as a kid, but I rejoiced it and I embraced what that is because it made me who I am today, because that was really hard for me back then, being exposed to that kind of lifestyle is crazy, because after that, that's when you get into selling drugs.
And Rocky did just that. By 15, he was selling crack and weed in the Bronx, even though his dad had just gone to prison 3 years earlier for dealing. But when you're homeless, doing the right thing isn't easy because no one wants to give you a chance.
You get in the only way for kids, like seriously, like the good kids try to go to barbershops, sweep up hair for money, and that's just chump change. But when barbershops tell you no after you went to a 100-block radius to try to find a fucking job just to support your lunch meal habit, you know what I'm saying? And maybe a cool couple of movies after school sometimes with your friends, you know, that just petty shit like that. You know, you can't find a job, what is your ultimatum? You gotta, you know, do what you gotta do. And you don't think twice about it when you come from where I come from. That's why I know what they've been through, and I understand the struggles. And that's why when you guys, you know, not you, but when people can't fathom the reason why people, really young cats, really connect with me, because a lot of them are in the same circumstances where they're misunderstood, where they got to make ill choices, where they want to do certain things, but they can't do certain things because things are holding them back, like finances, judgment, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people who want to dress like me, but they can't because they don't have the financial, you know, status to do it. They can't do it, you know what I'm saying? And that's when you got to figure out what's right for you, you know what I mean? And, you know, just because that's my thing, you know, and if it is your thing, you know, figure it out, do what you got to do, you know? I did what I did, and I made it in a positive way. I feel like anybody could do it, straight up.
He did make it. In 2005, at 17, he found himself becoming more inspired by rappers like UGK, Bone Thugs, and Mike Jones. He started taking rap more seriously. He said the Mike Jones track Still Tippin' changed his life. And you can hear a lot of similar chopped and screwed, slow down production on a lot of A$AP's current albums. By 2007, he hooked up with Steven Rodriguez, later became A$AP Yams, and to help develop what became the A$AP Mob Collective. A$AP, A-S-A-P, means always strive and prosper. Anyway, this was the birth of A$AP Yams, A$AP Ferg, A$AP Nast, who is Rocky's real cousin, and other members became a bona fide hip-hop group. One funny thing is they actually wanted to be more of a clothing collective at first, which kind of explains all the fashion deals we covered earlier, right? But it didn't take long for A$AP Yams to convince everyone to think about rap more seriously.
When we started A$AP, it was mostly just about clothes, but Yams was always like interning for like Dipset, like carousels.
Yams took it upon himself to make sure that we all were like, yo, on top of our game when it came to what we did, and that was like rap, like, you know what I'm saying? Like him and Bari like kind of like stayed on us, like, yo, y'all, this is how we gonna do it, like, you know what I'm saying? You gonna be a rapper, you gonna be a rap, y'all rappers, like, this A$AP, you know what I'm saying? We all fly, we all this, you know what I'm saying? And we gonna just
And
run with
at the time, Rocky didn't even rap with the group very much. Ferg was the main guy, and Rocky sang on some of his hooks, but with enough push from Yams, eventually started rapping more.
Ferg, you know, was probably doing more rapping than Rocky was. Rocky was actually singing on the song. He didn't really, it was like a little, you know, a verse, but it wasn't like what you know of him now. It's more like he's singing. So I just thought, you know, it was obviously something eclectic.
After gaining some exposure with A$AP Mob, Rocky finally released the solo mixtape Deep Purple in 2011. This included the hit Purple Swag. As one of the first songs Rocky co-produced on, you can hear the creativity with the sample from The Godfather's wedding scene and Mike Jones.
Purple swag, I'm in the zone, I'm getting dope, that purple swag.
The song was well received underground, but it wasn't until they shot a video they really started receiving some buzz, and eventually, record deals. The same circumstance Kendrick Lamar found himself in for Ignorance is Bliss. So take this as a lesson on you up-and-coming rappers. If you put out a mixtape, make a video too. With the success of Purple Swag, A$AP Mob eventually inked a contract with Sony's subsidiary Polo Grounds, distributed by RCA. They got a $3 million deal, which was split, $1.7 million for Rocky's solo work and $1.3 million to fund his company, A$AP Worldwide. This way, the A$AP homies could make sure they still had an opportunity to put out their own solo music. They were smart about it too. Rocky negotiated the deal so they could still release mixtapes under their current partner Red Distribution. The first thing he bought? Champagne, of course.
I be that pretty motherfucker. Harlem's what I'm reppin'. Tell my niggas hit the bitch and we gon' make it in a second. Never disrespect it. Plus I'm well connected with this coke that I imported. Just important as your president.
Later, in 2011, he released the mixtape Live, Love, ASAP, which had popular tracks like this one, Peso, What's Up, and Brand New Guy featuring Schoolboy Q. He also started dating Australian rapper Iggy Azalea, who tattooed the words Live, Love, ASAP across 3 of her left fingers. When they broke up, she tattooed crossed out the ASAP part on her pinky finger. Things started moving fast for Rocky at this point. He had this to say about the success of his mixtape.
Fast forward to 2011.
Yeah.
Mixtape comes out, all of a sudden you're headlining tours.
Yeah, man.
Sold out tours.
Sold out tours.
Festivals.
From a mixtape.
Was it crazy, sort of the impact you made so quickly on hip-hop? Do you find
I find that fascinating. I find it crazy. It's radical for the simple fact that I did all of it off of the mixtape. It's not a commercial album, meaning there was no money invested or pushed into it. You know, there was no machine behind it. It was all organic and natural. It's not like it was forced. Like, you turn on your TV, every 5 minutes you hear the song. It wasn't like that, you know? It was just something that, you know, people did on their own time. So.
Was that a crazy trip, though, or did you sort of expect that? Did you just have that feeling, you know, I'm going to do this, it's good? Because you know you're a talented dude.
Yeah, I always felt talented. I just didn't, I always wanted that, and I always hoped for it, and I always felt like it was possible. And that's how I try to keep my attitude, because they needed something different in hip-hop. I changed hip-hop within a year.
How important is it for you to bring along, you know, those friends that you had growing up to the level that you're at
Ferg
now?
and everybody.
Yeah, well, Ferg's about to blow up.
Yeah,
right?
he is. I can see it. For me, I mean, it's really important, because that was my support system, those guys. ASAP was my family in the street. That was my street family, and it became a brotherhood, you know, fellowship, and it's just like the love that we got for each other is just really, it's just so genuine and real. We just watch each other's backs, and it feels good to be in that kind of thing and not be considered a gang or that's all about promoting violence and stuff. We're actually trying to do something positive. You know, we try to inspire people to be like artistic entrepreneurs and stuff like that, you know. I mean, I try to lead by example, you know, and I mean, Ferg, he paid attention, and now you see where he's going. And I feel like it's really important for me to just show that, like, man, I'm real when I say these are my brothers, and we're here to do something and make a difference. It's not, they're not just here to just make me look good. We're all like one hand washes the other.
By February 2012, he joined Kendrick Lamar as opening acts for Dre's Club Paradise tour. This also included him performing at Coachella that year and meeting Rihanna, who he continued touring with as an opener.
When I first came into the game, so many people showed love, so many people, man, and Rihanna was one of them.
Tonight is a special night, you know what I'm saying? A special female in the field, so that's why I'm gonna do this one for somebody special, right?
I'm so gracious that she considered me to take out on the road, you know, because Rihanna represents our generation, for real, for real.
And while he was appreciative, he still felt he was ready to headline and had a hard time opening up every night, even if it was for Rihanna. Here he is talking to Snoop Dogg about his feelings.
Being on the road and shit, it's hard for me to really focus on myself. Like, I don't really eat right, you know what I mean? I miss home. I miss doing what I want to do type of shit.
So you don't like touring?
I like touring, but I like doing opening. I like headlining my own shit. If that make any sense.
You with the baddest bitch in the music industry. Just listen to me for a minute.
Nah, I hear you.
No, you with the baddest bitch in the music industry, hands down, right? You get to walk on stage before she do.
With Snoop, I kind of honestly had to force myself to talk because I wanted to just sit and soak game the whole time.
You gotta look at your opportunity as everybody that wasn't fucking with me, that's fucking with her, fucking with me. Because you ain't got everybody yet.
Nah, not at all.
You understand me? She, everybody. So it's not like you taking the back seat. Give you the perfect example. When I'm Snoop Dogg, I'm the shit, right? I rock in front, not knock anybody out. I don't give a fuck who they put me on after. They just put me on after Boosie Collins the other night and Whoop, and that's my uncle, and he know I had to go hard on him. But when I get with Dr. Dre, I get back in the passenger seat.
Okay.
And I play my role.
All right.
Like you need to do.
Well, all right.
And put my seatbelt on and enjoy the ride.
Cruise control.
And then when I come out of that motherfucking seat, I'm meaner, I'm nastier, I'm badder, I'm faster, I'm prettier. I'm all of that.
I can dig that.
You understand what I'm saying? So that way when I walk back into my own light, I shine even brighter because I was able to take the back seat. Feel me? You can do it.
That's a good way to look at it.
You can do it.
It's a better way to look at it.
Put your seatbelt on, nigga. Enjoy the ride.
And true indeed, man. I mean, I'm seeing progress with it, you know.
You getting reviews, you getting rave reviews from motherfuckers who probably never even knew who you was. And now they may say, I came to see her, but I left loving that nigga that was on stage before her. The nigga with the one braid hanging in front of his face. Who was that nigga? He was cold.
Later, he was nominated by BET for Best New Artist and Best Male Hip Hop Artist. He won Best Hip Hop Style for Best Collaboration, Duo, or Group. Things got ugly in July of 2012. Rocky was arrested for beating a man in a New York clothing store and 2 other men who were filming the fight from outside. He was sued for assault by the first man. The fight started after Rocky was witnessed using illegal drugs in the store. In December that year, Rocky struck a plea deal in the criminal case, pleading guilty to attempted grand larceny, with the assault and robbery charges being dropped.
I love bad bitches, that's my fucking problem. And yeah, I like the fuck, I got a fucking problem. I love bad bitches, that's my fucking problem. And yeah, I like the fuck, I got a fucking problem. I love bad
Things got back on track in 2013. He released his first studio album, Long Live ASAP, which debuted at #1 on the Billboard Top 200. The album also won an award for Best Collaboration with Fucking Problems, featuring Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Another collaboration that brought lesser-known yet amazing artists together was One Train. This featured Kendrick Lamar once again, Action Bronson, Joey Badass, Big Crit, Danny Brown, and Yellow Wolf. Most critics have agreed that Joey Badass had the best verse. Joey had this to say about what that track did for his career.
Shout out to Rocky too, that's my brother, man.
People kind of push him into like this, like, oh, he's not, like when I play Rocky, like you'd be surprised. A lot of the people, some people out there who like fuck with you will hit me and be like, oh, Rocky, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like Rocky, you know, from the beginning has been very connected. Talk about like what that record did for you. One Train was a really big early appearance for you.
Nah, One Train really put me on like just to larger audiences because you know, when I first came out, you know, Rocky was at basically like, you know, just peaking at his success with his first album and everything. And I actually realized what it did for me when I first went overseas and I performed. I was like, damn, like this record is taking me like, you know, all the way across the pond and, you know, making me big all the way across the pond. So, you know, I've been grateful for that moment. And every time me and Rocky, we see each other at these festivals and he bring me up for One Train, is always a golden moment too. You know, I'm always honored to be on that stage with him and just deliver that energy to that crowd. So shout out to my man Rocky.
Things were going great, but bad news struck again for ASAP in 2015 when the ASAP Mob founder, ASAP Yams, was found dead due to mixed drug intoxication. Obviously, this affected the group deeply, but it didn't slow him down. Later in that year, Rocky put out his second studio album, At Long Last ASAP, shortened to Allah, which also debuted at #1 on the Billboard's Top 200.
dream about her all day. I think about it with her clothes off. I'm riding around with my system pumping LSD.
One hit single was LSD, Love, Sex, Dreams, which isn't even a rap song, but does an impressive job of taking the listener on an auditory acid trip. Of course, the video was just as trippy. It gave Rocky another opportunity to tune into his deeper artistic side and come up with the concept for his music video.
That was an ill-ass video.
Thank you, man. It was inspired by Into the Void. Shout out to my boy Dexter Navy, man.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
All of my movies, all of my videos that I direct or co-direct are inspired by movies, you know? Like from What's Up to At Long Last, ASAP, Goldie, everything that I do is it's inspired by movies.
Furthering his film and performance endeavors, he took on a movie role on the 2015 independent comedy drama Dope, which premiered at Sundance. With a resume already consisting of modeling, fashion lines, directing, acting, philanthropy, and of course, rapping, what could possibly be next for ASAP Rocky?
Who am I? Lord Flacco, painting vivid pictures, call me Basquiat Picasso. Capo head honcho, now my following's colossal. Ain't no boxer Pacquiao, but got the chopper, todo caso. It's like you heard God spoke, I sing the ghetto gospel. The choir like my reefer and the preacher got my eyes low. Sister Mary Jane can make me sleep from singing high notes. The Bible or the rifle. Good night, folks.
At the end of the day, I can honestly say that, you know, I'm successful right now. I'm not saying that's enough, and I'm not saying I'm content with just being at this stage, but I could die today happy. That's straight up, you know what I'm saying? I'm happy. This is shit that I always said I wish I could do. I'm doing this shit. People appreciate my art, they know me for my art. I'm gonna continue to keep doing what I've been doing until it's my time to go. I'm gonna make mistakes, I'm gonna make some headlines, I'm gonna make people happy, I'm gonna piss people off. But I'm gonna do me, and I'm gonna be me. Until it's my time to, you know, lay it all down.
And that's the rap score for A$AP Rocky's come up story. Hit us up on Twitter @TheRapScore and let us know what you think.